In honour of our guest today, I'm going to say good day, Facebook. And this is Repurposing with Stephen. And good afternoon, Tina.
Good afternoon, Stephen.
Right. Well, sorry, good day, Tina.
Yeah,
and certainly good day, Adaire. Nice to see you.
It's good evening here.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
It's Adaire is a trooper. She's joining us. What is it, like 3 a.m. where you are?
Not quite. It's 1:30.
Wow.
1:30 in the morning. And I didn't even get a note from my mum, so.
Right, we've just been discussing the weather because we are crossing 3 continents today. We're in America, we're in the UK, and we're in Adelaide in Australia. And we're going to have some fun as we talk about repurposing. I suppose the first question, Adaire, is could you tell us a little bit about social media for small business owners?
Okay, well, I'm actually a hypnotherapist. Now, I know that might sound a little bit odd, but I came into hypnotherapy. That's another story for another time, but I was looking for clients, as you do when you start a small business, and I ended up using Facebook to get a lot of clients and be quite successful in attracting clients through my Facebook business page. And I had one of my colleagues said, will you show me how to do it? Because he was, a bit worried that he wasn't able to attract clients. So he sat around my dining room table and I showed him how I did, attracted clients using Facebook, and it's sort of grown from there. So that's about 18 months, 2 years ago. I still practice a little bit of hypnotherapy, but this getting into social media, the demand for helping, my niche is in people who are hypnotherapists, neuro-linguistic programming master practitioners, sort of Reiki healers, maybe psychic healers, so people that are in the alternative healing modalities in the industry, which is, I do bring in other people as well. They're generally the people that I work with because that's where my background is and that's the language I speak. So anyone's welcome to come along for the ride. But so I focus on Facebook. I do an inch wide and a mile deep. There are so many options out there that people just go, I don't know where to start. So I say I'm absolutely not a generalist. I specialise in Facebook, and that's really all I teach. My husband's been to LinkedIn University, so he might get an airing occasionally to talk about LinkedIn. But I'm all about Facebook. So, but in terms of repurposing, I do go further than Facebook, obviously. So.
You're using Facebook as your primary platform, and then everything that you create for Facebook, you repurpose for other channels, which is using your time wisely, working smarter, not harder, as they say.
Absolutely, yes.
So, in terms of Facebook, what do you think for a small business, what are the advantages of being on Facebook?
I would say for 99.9% recurring of small businesses that's where their clients or their customers are. The advantages by being, and you would know these statistics, that if Facebook was a country, it'd be the largest country on the planet.
Yeah.
There's more people on Facebook now than walked the earth 100 years ago. Does that not blow your mind? I just think, wow. So, there's Fiona.
Hello.
She's another Adelaidean. Fiona and I run the Adelaide Suburb Small Business Networking Group together, along with Steve, who's AWOL at the moment. So, and he's over in Western Australia lapping up the sun. But Fiona's chosen to sit up and join us, so that's cool.
Thank you for staying up to join us.
Indeed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Facebook is, I believe, the main platform for my niche, because there's others that obviously would probably find Instagram a better platform for their predominant main platform. But for me, and the niche that I've chosen to work in, or that I've fallen into, has been Facebook. Yes.
So have you found by going that, inch wide and mile deep and finding your niche, has that helped you when it comes to, I'm going to try to stick to repurposing, Stephen, and not take us off, but does that help you
It's okay. Wherever we go.
By having such a narrow niche, I would imagine it makes it, does it make it more difficult, or does it make it easier to repurpose and reuse your content?
Oh, it's absolutely easy. And I would actually say that it's critical to have a niche that is as narrow as you can possibly make it, because there are, I think there's nearly 2 billion people on Facebook now. And if you, I would just say tonight at the network meeting, who is your avatar? Who is your ideal customer? And there were 2 people in the room that said they'd actually developed an avatar or had their ideal customer mapped out, and both of them I've worked with. And the rest of the room said, well, we don't have one. Our services are for everybody. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about having a message that you just, if you're a hypnotherapist and you want to target women who are 50 years old who are smokers, your message is going to be completely different from a 20-year-old male. So, if you try and reach them both, you're just not going to resonate with either. So, just getting the, hey, it's Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
So it is absolutely going laser focused, and it's no accident that most of the people in my workshops and most of the people on my courses are hypnotherapists or life coaches or NLP practitioners or Reiki healers. There's no accident about that at all. So in terms of repurposing content, it makes it really easy because you're speaking a language for a particular group of people.
Yeah, so you're able to, the direction they should be going in, and you're just going to gently nudge them towards it. Now, you spoke a moment ago about avatars. Now, the only avatar that I'm aware of, or I'm being slightly off here, is the film. Could you explain what an avatar is? Because not everybody will know.
Well, I didn't know when I first started down this path, and I thought, the avatar, that was the movie, but realised it was sort of a marketing term, and I'm not a marketer at all. And I think to learn the jargon, so I do apologise for that. But an avatar, there's different words or names that you can call them. They could be your ideal client, your target market. I call it the alter ego. It could be, because mine is a previous version of myself, which is really easy, because then I just sort of talk to this previous version of myself that sits on the back of my shoulder here, and I just say, hey, what do you reckon about that? Her name's Brenda, actually. So she's got a name. But it is who you want to reach. And the importance about knowing who your avatar is or your target market is that if you don't understand them deeply and intimately and what their pain points are, then you're not going to be able to be able to resonate with them when you're talking about solutions that you may have to fix their problem. And I go back to the example of the 50-year-old woman who wants to stop smoking because she's worried about getting leathery skin and lip wrinkles, although by that time it's a bit late. The 20-year-old male is probably wanting to stop smoking because his girlfriend's nagging him to stop smoking. Their reasons are completely different. So tapping into their deepest motivations for what it is that's paining them, if you don't know who your ideal market is, then you're going to have the wrong message. So,
and I have a friend of mine that says that she has an actual person that is her, that she sees as her avatar. And so it's a client that she already has, and so she just uses that person. So it's like, what if I'm talking to Linda, so I know who this person is, and I know what my message needs to be to reach her. But the great thing is, if you are a hypnotherapist and you want to reach both markets, say that you want to reach the smokers in general, you can repurpose your content and change your message and your platform slightly. So if you're wanting to reach the 50-year-old woman, you would have a particular message that would go to Facebook. And if you're wanting to reach the 20-year-old male, you would shift that message a little bit and post it on Instagram. And so doesn't say that you can't do both, but you certainly don't want to post the same thing on Instagram that you just posted on Facebook if you're trying to reach a different audience. And obviously you are. Those two don't. I mean, there is crossovers. Not to say there's no 20-year-olds on Facebook, because there certainly are. But yeah, I mean, and you really, when you say you're going an inch wide and a mile deep, you're being extremely specific.
Yes.
So,
yes. I do work with 20-year-old males, but I actually don't develop content for them. So, and I have actually helped, younger males become non-smokers. But the interesting thing is, the last person I helped, I asked where he found me, and he said, "My mum found you."
And you know what? And that's
He's a 50-year-old female.
Well, and then his girlfriend, if his girlfriend were the one nagging him, she would likely see it on Facebook or Pinterest as well. So although she is likely on Instagram, she's also perusing Facebook and Pinterest, because that's what women who are 20 do. They have kind of they're looking at clothing and things on Pinterest. They're on Facebook because their older friends and their moms are there, and then they're on Instagram because that's their age group. So. Yeah. So, yeah, that's really cool that's how he found you, was through the woman in his life who you were targeting. That woman, she didn't need your service, but she knew someone who did.
Yes.
Well, that's the essence of...
I'm sorry, Stephen. I was going to say, with 2 million people on Facebook, you're going to hit somebody that knows somebody that needs what you're selling, even if they don't.
Well, that's the essence of networking, isn't it? In that you don't know who you're reaching, because the people you're talking to talk to other people who talk to other people who talk to other people. And you can reach far and wide with a message which is you're aiming at one person, but you actually reach out and you hit a whole different spectrum of people, and getting people to come together. Right now, I'm most interested because Tina and I are primarily video. So could you tell us a little bit about the Friday Facebook fix?
Oh, the Friday Facebook fix. Yes. Now that is something that I dreamt up. I have a group called Social Media for Small Biz Owners, and I thought, what can I do in that group that's actually going to add value to the group? So we have a couple of programs where the small business owners participate to help get a bit more engagement on their pages. But one of the things that I did was decided that I would go live in the group every Friday. Now, having a live video was just an absolute boon, because I just went, ask me questions. So I just said, I'll go up and I'll ask me questions. But then what I found was that they went, like, sometimes it was very, very quiet. So I would start doing a little snippets. I would have, just some content backup just in case there was no one there to ask questions. But as with anything, it starts slow, and if you're consistent and you stay with it, then it does build, and people get to know that this is what's happening. With Belive TV, which is another absolute boon, I actually found that I could schedule it onto my page and then share it back to my group, which meant that I could go further than what I could when I was just in my group. So now I'm doing it on my business page and now sharing it back into my group. But I do topics each Friday, half an hour snippet. Sometimes it's a bit of a rant. People do still now come in and I will interview people. Now we've got this capacity to do that through Belive TV, which is awesome. But I do relate, I get bits. I'm writing a book at the moment. I've released an ebook and it's called Breaking the Facebook Code, 10 Steps to Getting Customers. And it's sort of like a condensed iteration of the big book, which is the monkey on my back at the moment. And that's called Unlocking the Facebook Code, 10 Steps to Attracting Clients. So I've deliberately named them two different things, but they're in essence very similar. So so from the book, I take snippets, and sometimes, like on the Friday Facebook fix, so for last week I had a rant about groups and about, the behaviour of some people in groups. And then I translated that into a blog post. So if we're looking at the repurposing, that always starts off with a video, and that was quite accidental as well, because I was saying, well, I'm giving this information. I've written it in the book. The book's still being born. It's sort of about probably 8 chapters out of 12 that are done, and then it needs editing, so it's a little way off yet. But then I'm taking information from that and I'm putting it into the Friday Facebook Fix, and then I'm rewriting it into a blog. So it sort of looks a bit like what's in the book, and then it comes out as a blog, which is part of the repurposing stuff. But it doesn't stop there either. But, yeah, so that's in essence the Friday Facebook Fix.
There is a tool, if you use Google Docs at all, when you use Google Docs, you can use Google Voice to speak, and it types for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I know people who do live video, especially if they're it doesn't work. It doesn't pick up the other person that's speaking. So if you're having a guest on, this isn't the ideal situation. But if you're going on to teach something and it's just going to be you speaking, if you turn that on while you're doing your video, it will actually be written for you when you're done. So then you just have to go in and edit and tweak that.
That's brilliant, Tina. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is awesome. I think that's worth staying up all night for. That bit of information.
Well, actually, the other Aussie that's going to be coming on next week, and I don't even know if Stephen's looked at the calendar, but we've got, and I hope I'm saying her name right, but it's Tania. It's Tania. So I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but she's the one that actually that brought that up. So she wasn't speaking about doing it as a video. She was talking about just using the voice so that you don't have to type, because she's a 2-finger typer. But after she brought that up, I thought, why, so I went and tested it. I turned on Belive and I did a little test, and I just spoke into the microphone and did like 5 minutes, and it typed it. And I'm Southern, so I probably have to do more editing than most people, because Google doesn't know what I'm saying. But still, even if it gets 75% of what you said correct, that's still a lot less work than having to type the whole thing out. So it works.
Well, guess what I'm going to do next time? Actually, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it. So that's awesome. Thank you for that tip. That's brilliant. It is brilliant. Yes.
It's interesting. So when you have people on, that's the beauty of having guests on, because Stephen and I, obviously we do different things for repurposing, but that's still just two perspectives. And there's so many out there. And Tanya, and I don't know if it's Tanya or Tanya, we'll have to get with her, and so I can pronounce her name correctly next week. But she does a lot of, she creates a lot of documents. So she does a lot of typing. And so she, figured out that this was a way that would save her time, because she's not a fast typer. But had she not been speaking on that message that, hey, if you're not a good typer, you can use this tool, it never would have occurred to me to try it when we're doing live. So it's always good. Two heads are better than one, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. I think, I've watched a couple of the repurposing, and I thought, wow, you sort of think, repurposing, how much can you do? But really, when you think about it, it's absolutely endless.
It totally is, because when you do a live show, obviously you can repurpose the recording up to YouTube. The other thing you can do is you can take segments of that recording and then repurpose that. I did yesterday. I was on with David on Belive.tv because I persuaded him to come over here rather than Smile Time. And at the end of the show, we were just having a knockabout and saying, do have an outro for the end of the show. And that came, effectively, in the end, became a sketch, 2-minute sketch about why people shouldn't be watching us every week. And I was able to take that out.
It's really funny.
Thank you. Yeah. So, live video is the start of many repurposings, isn't it? Because you can take the live video, put it to YouTube, you can slice it up and use it. Also, if you've got it on YouTube, Tina knows I'm going to say this, you can actually then get it to post to WordPress and create the blog for you.
Yes. And that's pretty much what I do with that. I type it up and then I put the video onto YouTube. I don't slice it up because I haven't actually nailed the capacity or the ability to speak in succinct sections, because I go, oh, look, something shiny.
I do that too.
And then I'll come back to it. Have you ever seen Billy Connolly too?
Yeah.
He goes, oh my God, he will take you on a journey and you go, where the hell is this going to end up? And then he gets back to the main point and you go, that's what it was. Might be an hour later, but I'm not quite that skilled at meandering, but I think I'm quite good at getting off topic and then going, yeah, what was I? Yeah. So that's something that I think to be able to slice it, to repurpose it so that it makes sense, it actually is a skill to be able to talk about that one point and not go off topic too much.
Well, one thing that you can do rather than, so when you're thinking of chopping it up, you're thinking of actually chopping up, 3 to 5 minute pieces that you can then repurpose. And that's great if you can do that. And if you're like us, we meander everywhere, so it doesn't necessarily work. But what you can do is take out a 15 or 30 second piece that has an important point and use that to lead them back to the full video.
Yes.
And if you're like us and you meander a lot, one of the most important things you can do is to timestamp your video so people can find the point they want without listening to all the other stuff. So it's really helpful to lead them to where they want to be.
That's brilliant. So Robert's saying.
Yeah, make it easier.
Robert's saying
30-second teaser still back.
Yeah.
So Adaire, when you're embedding in your blog, embedding the live videos in your blog, are you using a tool that also puts the comments and everything from the live into the blog?
Not quite that sophisticated at the moment. Oh. I have actually I've tried the captioning from the YouTube, if that's what you're talking about. But
there's another tool we can tell you about.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, and it's Simple. Is it Simple Press?
It is Simple Press, yeah.
Simple Press. It will actually automatically take your lives and embed them into your website or your blog, and it includes the comments as they're happening. So even after it's no longer live and people come in and comment, those comments will also be added there on your blog. So
that sounds awesome.
And it is basically just a WordPress plugin. So you can buy it, and it's by our friend Hani Mourra. You can buy the plugin, and it's yours forever. And all I can say is it simply works.
Simply works.
Which you can set. It's his favourite phrase, but you can set it and forget it, because it will take your Facebook post, whether they be video and take the video, takes the comments, as Tina said.
And pops it in there.
I know back in the day when Jonathan was doing quite a few regular shows during the week, he used to do that. He used to repurpose all his shows as WordPress blogs, and he used to get shows with about 200 comments on. So he had very long blog posts, but it means that the show lives on.
Yeah. Yes.
And people who actually get recognised for doing that.
And I love the idea of having the comments come up as well, because the people that do bother to weigh in and contribute and really help, I think that's great to have them there, because when you do it the other way, you lose all that.
Mm-hmm. And that's social proof. Having those comments embedded there is social proof on your blog that otherwise wouldn't be there. So it's a great tool, and it's simple to use, and it's affordable. So like Stephen said, it's a one-time purchase. So
Simple Press. Another one that's going in the toolkit.
Indeed.
Was it someone we had on, Stephen? I'm sorry. Was it someone it may have been someone that we had on? I don't remember. I have so many conversations. I don't remember who I was talking to, but they said that one of the most watched videos, or some of, because they've done more than one since, but one of the most watched videos that they ever had was the outtakes from the production video that they did. So it wasn't even live, but they were producing a video and they decided to put the outtakes on, and everybody loved that. And so it's kind of the same thing what Stephen and David Vaughn did yesterday. It's just a kind of silly outtakes, and people love to watch that. They like to get a glimpse of the less serious side of you if you're doing business stuff.
Well, that's what Debbie's trying to do, is trying to lighten me up, so that, and it's working slowly but surely.
What was the term he used? What did you say? He was trying to make you more chill.
Oh yeah, indeed. That's his mission. As we do the shows every Monday, I mean, the thing is that when you do a regular show, and you can play off each other, the beauty of live video is that if you get somebody who you get on well with, then the show just works, and you pre-plan it, and it's just good fun most of the time, all the time.
And I think it must be fun. It's that's one of the criteria that I work by too. It's got to be fun.
Well, go ahead, Stephen.
I'm sorry, your turn, Tina.
Oh, I talk more than you, so you go ahead.
No, I think if you're doing live video, then you basically you do have to enjoy it, because if you don't, if you're scaring yourself before you actually go on camera, it's not going to work. If you go in front of camera and people can sense that you're scared, then you've got a problem. They don't want to watch. And we're doing, Tina and I have done one Udemy course, which is a bestseller and has 972 students. And we're working on a second course at the moment. And one of the sort of sections we've come up with is when not to go on camera. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're scared is one of those. Yeah. And the other one, the other ones we can probably put together now, that's when you've had a drink or two. That's not,
come on, they make great outtakes.
Depends on the show.
Well, it depends on the show, doesn't it? Okay, I'll take that one. Okay, I'm going to throw another one at you now then. When you've just lost an argument.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, your course was great. I actually did the one that you put together. I thought that was excellent.
And you did mentoring with David Burrows, didn't you?
Yes. Well, I have put my name down to do that, but we're yet to catch up. But I think doing the course was awesome. So it gave me I thought I knew my way around the platform pretty well, and I learned some great new tips and tricks about things that I thought were, just things like picking out the audio, because I thought it would come up automatically, and I couldn't work out why half the time I had no audio, because it was actually just needing to be, just things like that, which just really made it go a lot more smoothly. So that was awesome.
We're happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then now they've got the cool new frames, which I've been having a blast with.
Well, now, can you see this? I'm going to switch the screen at the moment. Can you see that?
I have to wait till it catches up. Not on the back end, but I have it open over on Facebook on my other computer.
All right, okay.
I have to wait till it.
We're best explain about frames whilst we're here, because we're all now on screen, but we're surrounded by what can best be described as a picture frame. But the beauty of it is that you can actually switch it off again. So I'm going to switch it off permanently now. It won't come back, don't worry. But can you just explain about frames or not frames, Tina?
Well, frames, but not in the literal sense, as Stephen took it, as a picture frame. So I think you can make the frame go all the way around like an actual frame, which is what Stephen chose to do. But just keep in mind that the size of the frame, and if you're cutting off your space where you're showing up. So you're giving yourself less space for your video. And so I've been making very thin frames that go across the top and the bottom, and I'm actually making the top thinner than the bottom. And so I'll have, I don't even know because I'm terrible with sizes, but I'll have like that much on the bottom and then like half that on top. And you can put information in those. So the one that I did yesterday had Shang Live in it, and then I did one for the funeral home that had like a little flower in it. And then of course you add your logo separately. Now, if you don't like the kind of logo just floating there, then you could add that to your frame. But again, we're still talking frames, top and bottom, or all the way around. You don't even have to do that. You can make anything you want. Molly Mahoney has in one corner, in the right-hand corner, it takes up, I don't know, a square like this size. So it's taking up maybe an eighth of the screen. And it's her little cartoon person that's part of her logo, and it's in a box and it says prepared performer, and so that's her frame. And so it's actually, instead of putting the logo at the top, she now has a logo that's at the bottom. And so don't get hung up on frame, because it really can be kind of any graphic. You just don't want to make it so big that it covers up the people that are sitting there talking to you.
When you told me that, you could hear the sound of the penny dropping. that we were not talking about picture frames. We're talking about things being around the screen. And you talked about Molly has got her own avatar. Mm-hmm. That's today's word.
Yeah.
Word for the day.
It can be any kind of graphical decoration. The thing that you have to remember is the size that you want to do it at is 1280 by 720. And you want to keep in mind that the center of that is going to be your people. So you don't want to put things there. So kind of decorate it around the edges or just in one corner, however you like. And then it has to be transparent, because if it's not transparent, then that is just going to overlay your video. So you won't see your video at all. So it does need to be transparent, but that's the frames. Has nothing to do with repurposing. It just makes your repurposed content pretty.
Well, it does. It's all connected, because at the end of the day, it's the presentation, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
When you're repurposing content, what you actually want is to put your best out there, don't you? You don't want second best. It's representing you. It's representing your company. So when you actually are on screen, live on screen, you want the best presentation you can get.
And you don't have to do anything like that, because you can add the logo separately. So you can have your logo that'll appear up in the upper right-hand corner. And then you will now have the option, which Stephen can show you, to change the colors of your lower third. And it also will match whatever colors you set there, will also match the title. So when you bring the people's names in, but you can make that any color you like. So if you just make that match your logo, then you have a really nice presentation without adding any kind of other decorations or frames. So just as up to you.
Indeed.
And if you have, so this is something else, Stephen, that just popped in my head. Actually, so if you want to use the bottom frame, and Adaire, this will be great for you. So if you have a book or you have something you want to push, use the bottom frame to promote that. And you can put an image in and put the URL and everything. And the beauty is, like Stephen said, you can take that off during the broadcast. You can bring it on and off as often as you like. So you can just pop it up every now and then and move it away. So that's a good way to do your call to action and send people to certain places. So
I did see David putting his up there. Share this, please share. I think his bottom frame was. Or you can you have one more than one?
Well, that's your lower thirds. That's what you're putting in. If Stephen can pop it up there, you'll be able to see it underneath you. That is whatever you put in your agenda will show up there.
Oh,
so you can put as many different things as you want there and pop them in and out as you like. So that works too. But it's not graphical. So it's just a blue, not a box, but a blue little shape with words in it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can see that now.
With the frame, you can do something pretty and graphical. So if you have, a giveaway, or you have your book, or you have something that would make for a cool graphical display, then you can use that in the frame and pull it on and off too. Hey, Marky.
Indeed. I mean, sometimes you miss a comment. So, Marky, if you're still watching, my apologies for just catching that.
So, Adaire, do you have, whenever you work with your clients, because I know that what you're doing is helping them with social media, do you have any particular tips that you give them for repurposing, or telling them that that if you do nothing else, you need to make sure you take this content and put it on YouTube as well, or whatever? What are your like 2 or 3 things that you recommend?
With the repurposing, it's actually I've worked with people that probably aren't at that point, so they are more in a position where they're just getting a handle on how the whole thing hangs together, talking more about things like around interacting in groups and building their own communities, that type of thing. So it's probably more in terms of repurposing, I would use it more for myself then, and it's definitely something that's worth talking to people that I work with about. But at the moment, I think if we started talking about repurposing, they'd just go, oh, so. But I do repurpose things and I actually, when you're talking about doing the blogs and the simple press and having the comments there, I think that's great, because what I do is I collect comments, and I'll show you. This is high tech. This is really high tech. This is because But
Me too.
Yeah. Well, this is high tech. But what the whole point of this is, when people make comments and even going into groups now, we can have questions. If we're admin of groups, we can ask 3 questions. So I always ask the questions with the intent of repurposing that content. So I can get, it's like a gold mine of information, so I can repurpose what people say, and I can actually turn that into training programs. So the questions that they ask, I can turn that into face-to-face workshops. So repurposing that is that, just those comments and what people say, what's bugging them, and the questions that they're asking, that's really a real goldmine of information that can be repurposed.
And so now we're talking about repurposing offline. So you take your online content that you've created and repurpose it into a course or seminar or, whatever conference that you're doing offline, which is probably also streaming online when you do it. It's a big circle.
I do actually, because I do a webinar. There was a big demand for people to, everyone wants to write an ebook. And so I've teamed up with a lovely girl, Tony, to do, we actually run a webinar called From Dread to Delight, which means that's live video. The other one is how to write an ebook in an hour. Okay, I'm getting my content mixed up. How to write an ebook in an hour. So I've got this webinar that I run, which is as a result of people asking me in those types of forums. So I'll say, okay, well, you want to know this, so I do a webinar, and then I will actually run a face-to-face workshop and build on that. So the webinar is more like how to write an ebook in an hour. Isn't that amazing? But people do it. They watch the webinar and they go and do it. They go, damn, they're supposed to come to my workshop. It's so easy. It's so easy. They go and do it, which is awesome. So.
You've put yourself in the situation we did with the Udemy course. We've done such a good job with the Udemy course that people don't need mentoring.
That's true. So we're going to switch it around, and we've got a new idea which Tina and I are going to talk about later. And we did a trial last week. We did a group session, and we had quite a few people watching and supporting us, but we only had one person in the group. But what a show that was, because we weren't talking technical. We're talking practical. So we have that to look forward to. Now, Adaire, I'm trying to type in the titles as we go along here, so I can share them on the screen. So I'm only a two-fingered typist. I don't have Google Voice on, so bear with me. It takes me a while. Obviously we've talked about live video being the place where your customers should be looking. Have you any plans to actually produce videos for them, just as producer rather than hosting the show?
I actually, that's outside of the scope of what I do. I do have some colleagues that do that for people, and I work in conjunction with others to make sure that people that I work with have a well-rounded service. So I've sort of chosen again to niche fairly narrowly, and I had a reason I branched out into doing the ebooks and just doing a surface thing around, not surface thing, but around getting people ready to be on video, is because I believe it's an integral part of having a presence on Facebook, and the ebook is something that you can use as a giveaway to build your email list. And obviously it's got to be something of value, so it's sort of woven into the training that I do quite nicely. But actually taking it outside and doing showing people like how to do live videos, that's something that I think there's people that actually do that for a living, and I'd much rather bring them in or refer to them. So yeah.
fully understood, but you actually mentioned the two words there that David Vaughan would be proud of.
What was that?
Email list.
Oh,
The whole purpose of one of the purposes of social media is to actually make contact with new people and to build your list, isn't it?
yes.
Because that's the cornerstone of keeping in contact.
Well, it is, absolutely. And I don't think anybody that I know does it very well. And certainly I know I can improve on that.
So
that, again, is repurposing content because the blogs go out to my email list as well. So,
and you can repurpose your videos if you may have to take some conscious effort, or you may have to make a video specifically for it. But Molly Mahoney does a good job with this, and she's another Beliver. She will take snippets from the live videos that she has done, and when she sends an email out, it includes the video. So it may be, it may be 30 seconds, it may be 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what she's doing. But I saw a term recently when I was just doing some research, because I try to stay on top of things, but I'd not seen this before, and it's video voicemail. And from what I could see, it looked like they were talking about utilizing the video in your emails.
yes.
But it looked like it was talking about doing it live so that you could actually provide customer service while you're doing it live. I've not figured out how that works with email. Now, it works with Messenger. You can certainly do this with with Facebook Messenger, Yahoo Messenger. It shows you my age right there. With the Facebook Messenger, you can do it that way. But I don't know how you can embed live video into email. Can you? If we were to take the link right now that we're doing right now, this video, and send an email, would it actually open up in their email as us live talking? No. Do we know?
Sorry, Adaire.
I was just going to say, I've played a little bit with one on Gmail where you actually record it directly into the email, the body of the email, rather than embedding from another. I think that's what you're talking about, or that's...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You would have to embed it, right? Because it's being pulled from, it's not recorded in the email like you're talking about doing. We're on Facebook right now live. But this, I'm going to have to look into it more. And it's the first time I've seen that, video voicemail terminology used in this way. But it appeared that they were talking about actually being able to use live video as, so you could say a customer sent a complaint in, they're having issues with their tech, whatever. So from what I understood, you could then send the reply email that would include you in a video right there that they could talk to you. So I don't know if this is something that's in the works and is not there yet. That would be really cool. But I don't know how that works. If it does yet, maybe it's something that's, that's a prediction that's coming down the pipeline. I'm going to have to look into it more. But you can definitely use your videos and repurpose them as part of your email campaigns.
Well, there are possibilities there. I know people have been trying static video email for quite a while. And there are some well-known, well, perhaps notorious is the wrong word. There are some companies that set up to do that and taught you how to create video emails, but you're actually just enclosing a static URL in there. So that when people clicked on it, they went straight to the video. And they were told that video email was the future. We're still waiting to see what happens because the open rate, let's go back to email for a moment. The open rate on emails, what do you tend to find? If you do a mail shot at the end of the month, what open rate are you finding? The typical rate is between 2 and 10%.
Oh, I think I've noticed around about maybe 20, I think.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah,
she has a niche too. So you got to remember the open rates are higher when you are in a very narrow niche. And then also the open rates in general, because I just looked at these statistics a couple of days ago. If there's if the subject line includes something about a video, the open rates are higher. People want to see the video. So that's a general, that's a general stat. So it may or may not hold true for you, but in general, they are higher when video is included. So
that's good. Right. Okay. Now, where should we go next? Have you any questions for us, Adaire? As you've got us in the room, as it were, and you enjoyed the course, for which we're grateful. If you've got any questions that we didn't cover, then to give you a moment to think about those. Whilst you're thinking, we do want to mention that the Belive in 5 program is open to anybody using belive.tv. And as Adaire said, there is a Udemy course that goes along with that. And if you just go to Udemy, you type in Facebook Live, free courses, the course by Tina and myself will be right at the top. So thank you, Udemy, for putting us at the top of the list. So Facebook Live, Udemy, and you'll find the course. All right. Okay. So do you have any questions, Adaire?
Well, I was thinking, because I did actually hook into a couple of the other repurposing videos that you've done. It just seems to be such a massive opportunity for people to understand it a lot better. And I don't think that, there's probably only one other person that I've actually even heard about talking about repurposing. So I think you're on a great thing. And I'm just wondering if they're like live videos. This is fantastic because you can get, sort of little bits of expertise from all over the place, just different ideas around different parts of repurposing. Is there somewhere that this is getting translated so that we can go to an ideas portal for repurposing?
Right. Okay. Now, if we replayed our previous videos through Google Voice, Tina, do you think it would transcribe them for us?
I don't think so.
Okay. You might need Fiverr for that.
Yeah, I think if you can figure out, I actually tried it already, and it wasn't picking up everything that was being said. You may be able, and I've got the Blue Snowball microphone that I put up close to the speaker to try to get it to pick it up. This Blue Snowball is the lower end one. There's a more higher end that has some noise cancellation. If you had a really good mic, or if you had, a really directional mic, it might work. But for the mic that I've got here now, it just picks up too much other stuff and it keeps cutting out. For Google, it just types and then it'll be like there'll be a pause because it's like trying to decipher everything it's hearing through this microphone, and it just didn't work. Not to say that it won't, but it didn't work with this microphone.
Well, we're only sort of 6 shows in, so we could, Adaire, thank you for a brilliant idea. We could go and revisit those videos, and because we've been talking to a wide range of people about their ideas and repurposing, we could actually index them.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that, because the point of this show, we want people to watch, obviously, but if we were 25 episodes in, people are not going to go back and watch 25 hours worth of video. So they may be missing some really good opportunities and tips for repurposing. And I think we repurpose without realizing it, is as Adaire was talking about, the fact that she does not talk with her clients about repurposing because they're not there yet. In that same sentence, you said that you're teaching them Facebook groups. And so if they have a business page and they're repurposing content over to their groups, then you are teaching them to repurpose.
and then repurposing the repurposing show into indexing. It's all like, doing my head in. It is. It's like when you tease it out, there's probably a lot more that we do that is just unconscious that we do in terms of repurposing, rather than what you might think is like the traditional. Well, I don't know if there is a such thing as a traditional repurposing, because it's also new with this platform.
Stephen, we have to create a blog now. We can call it Repurposing with Purpose.
Wow. Let me make a note of that. It's tough. It might take a while.
Yeah, the best ideas are born at 2 o'clock in the morning. So people are asleep through most of them.
I want that. I want that in the recording. Then we don't forget. Well, I'll forget. Tina will
I wrote
forget.
it down.
There we are.
Yeah, I have actual paper to write stuff on like Adaire. So.
I've got to be honest here. I can't remember the last time I used a printer. I don't on the computer. I never print anything out.
I don't either.
No.
But I do write everything. Like I have and it's funny because if you can see, it's like an utter look. See my doodles as well while I'm listening.
Yeah.
But it's like a best of trying and then going back and trying to decipher what the hell did I mean that day. So I don't know how efficient it is, but I do it.
And can it be repurposed?
It can be recycled.
So I do have a question for you, another question. And I am curious, you may have covered it in the earlier shows, but I am curious as how you came up with the idea to do a repurposing show.
This is where we've got to write a backstory. We don't have a backstory. No, basically, what happened was that going back, Tina and I did a few shows together, and we just enjoyed doing the shows. And then I talked to Hani Mourra, and he was bringing out Repurpose.io, and I thought, well, if he's doing that and he's automating all the repurposing, we can build a show around that. So Tina and I had a chat, and here we are.
Okay.
And we both had done interviews separately with Hani. And talked, and we both were fans of the software that he put together, which if you're not aware of Repurpose.io, it automates all of this, back and forth. So you take it from Facebook over to YouTube and it does it automatically. So you don't have to download the video and then upload the video and use all your bandwidth and your time and all that. So it really is a really effective way. And Stephen has like a crazy, when he shows his screen of all the different things that he's got plugged into that. And then on top of that, he's using if this, then that to make it do even more. It just makes my head spin. I repurpose, but even though I have this great tool, I still do a lot of it the hard way because I don't know, just looking at all that, just like I would be, I had the same thing, and you have to be careful when you're repurposing and when you automate things, is I had, for whatever reason, the same thing was posting 3 times, one right after the other on Twitter for a while. And of course I didn't realize it because guess what? I don't look at my own Twitter feed. And so I went there one day to change out, to update my About Me section, I think. And I saw like all these repetitions and posts, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? And I had automated it in one place and then automated it in another place. And so then they were all going there 3 times.
This is a true story. There was a bot, and the bot sent out a message. It was searching for a hashtag. And every time it saw this hashtag, it would retweet the person. Yeah. But it wasn't very well programmed because then it went on to retweet its own retweet. It was going round and round and round in ever decreasing circles. So be careful with bots.
Yeah, I mean, technology is great. And when you can automate things, it's a huge time saver. But, for me, because like I said, I'll make notes of stuff, but then they're such jumbled messes, I can't read my own notes. Yeah. So the great thing about Repurpose.io, though, is that you can do almost everything you want to do right there in that one piece of software, so that you're not using, Hootsuite for this and this software for that, and then this bot for that, and then you've got stuff overlapping, and it's hard to keep up with. So to have it all in one interface is really helpful.
I think that's great, and I did look at the live video that you did with, what's his name?
Hani,
yes. And I thought, I think I wrote somewhere on my mess of papers down here, Repurpose.io. I did actually write that, and I went,
he's going to be our guest on July 4th. And he's going to be talking about the social press, the simple social press.
I think I'll set the alarm and I'll hook in.
So he's going to be talking about his WordPress plugins on that show. So awesome. If you haven't already got that and plugged it in by then join us and you can learn a little bit more about it. So
that would be fantastic. Yes, I'll definitely be looking at that. Yeah.
Adaire, I'd just like to say thank you because it is now 2:30 in the morning with you.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes. It's actually
The
2:22.
time is flying.
Well, and
So-
we were lucky enough to get her kind of on a high.
No.
She'd just taken part in an awesome group, and you want to tell people about that. So she was still kind of excited and stoked, so we didn't get her when she was half asleep and needing a bucket of coffee to join us.
I actually don't drink coffee. I had such a terrible withdrawal from coffee last year, or caffeine. I just decided that I would never drink it again because it's just not worth it. And I did run a group earlier yesterday evening, looking at doing elevator pitches, 30-second elevator pitches, and also writing business bios, and that was wonderful. We had such an amazing time. So looking at how we might repurpose that.
That's
we
great.
normally do stream them live. They're face-to-face workshops that we hold once a fortnight. But we normally do stream them live into our group, our Facebook group, so people who can't make it.
It would be an awesome mini course for Udemy.
Yes, it would. Absolutely. Oh, ideas. Ping, ping, ping. I'm not going to bed now. Guess what I'm doing?
I hope you don't have to get up early.
Well, as we've discovered, if you do a short 30 to 40-minute course and you put it to free on Udemy, then you attract an audience.
Yes.
And the audience is interested in the topic. And we found that with some wonderful exceptions, a lot of the people who are taking our course are not members of Belivers. So we've picked up a new audience through it. And I think you can do that if you do sort of 30 to 40-minute course on Udemy. And the thing is that once you've got, are you on Udemy at the moment?
I actually was exposed to it the first time by doing your course, and I loved it. I thought, my God, I have got the perfect thing to do because I do health checks. I've developed a template or a tool called a health checklist for people's business pages. And I think because I give that away as a free service, and I also sometimes I do the review myself. So if I really want to, connect with somebody, I'll do the review. Sometimes I give it away as a door prize, just for, or if people come into my courses. But to be able to do a course where I can give a template and then walk people through how they can do a check on their own business page to make sure that they're meeting best practice standards, I think that would be a great giveaway. For you
yeah, absolutely. And the great thing is so now Stephen and I, since we put up the free Udemy course for Belive in 5, now we have, last I looked, 960 new people that we didn't have before. So essentially it's building an email list. So we have 960 people that we can now, show our other offers to. So our paid programs and things that we're offering, we have that group of people that we can market to. So I think that would be a great, either one of those. I think a lot of people are really, there are lots of, what is the big speech thing that people get into? I can't think of it.
Right. I know one or two people, Professional Speakers Associations, things like that.
But there's like a group of people that, it's like an organization for speakers specifically, and it helps you.
Toastmasters.
Yes, thank you. And so, with the popularity of that tells you that you have a market for what you're teaching.
Yes.
And so if you wanted to do it on, you have high level things and then you have the deeper dives. So you could certainly do the high level information to get them started in their pitch or their elevator speech, or even how to put together, how do you put together an avatar for your business? Not only do people not know what that is, but they don't know how to do it. So you probably, everything that you've ever given a speech or taught on, you can translate into a course over there. So just take a little time to put together.
I've got an 8-week boot camp that I run, which covers the 10 steps to breaking the Facebook code or unlocking the Facebook code. And that's broken down into, that can be a multitude of mini courses, because each one, like groups can be a course in itself, and so can the health check, and so can, your avatar, and there's just even things like reading your insights on your business page, and there's a whole heap of stuff that's all encompassed in that you can break down into tiny little. How do you find people on Facebook? That's something that everybody wants to know. There's these people everywhere, but I can't find anyone.
Yeah, it's because Facebook search sucks.
I teach people how to find the right people. They just got to know who they are. They just got to do their avatar. Then they just show up.
I should do this one day. I should do a screen share or something and show people this, because it's really bizarre. And as far as I know, I'm the only person that this is true for. So when you go to Facebook, I'm just going to open it so if you go to Facebook right now and you go and you type in something into the search bar and you hit the little magnifying glass, right? Yep. Then it pops up and it says all, post, people, photos, video, pages, places, groups, apps, events, right? Okay. So I'm going to go make sure that this is still true because I haven't checked in a while. So right now I have my language settings for Facebook set to English UK. Oh, because let me check and make sure that this is still true. Because whenever I have it set to English US, I do not have the same search options. And I'm going to look right now to see if it's still doing that. But my husband set to English US and his search options work. So I don't know. It's bizarre, but let me change this and see.
That is really weird. It might be a face bug. Set it to pirate and see what happens.
Yeah, I've done pirate. It's fun. So let's see, what language do I want to use? Go to English US. Save. The bad thing about, and English UK is fine, but the only bad thing about it is then it puts everything in like military time, and I don't know military time. So it says like 1400. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Yep. So let me do another search. And see. So, okay. Actually, it's working now. But this has been months ago that I changed it. So I can leave it on US for now until it decides to take it away again. But when I did that before, it did not have that across the top, all the post videos. That wasn't there. Instead, I had along the left-hand side, I had like 3 choices. So it's fixed. So I'm glad I brought that up. Now I know I can go back to my normal time zone stuff.
Problem solving too.
Facebook has some really weird quirks like that. And I don't know, Adaire, since you work with people on Facebook, you may have seen some of these things. But I had a funeral home here in the U.S. that every bit of traffic that they were getting was coming from Scandinavian countries. Everything. And we had nothing that would make those people come to our page at all. And I never did figure out why that was happening. That like 95% of our traffic was coming from Scandinavian countries.
Well, I'd love to say I have insider information, but the closest I can get is to say that my cousin went to Harvard with Mark Zuckerberg. But that's sort of you'd like to think that's less than 6 degrees in separation, but I don't know if it's actually going to give me a direct line to Zuck either. So.
I just wondered if you'd experienced any weird quirks with Facebook, because I noticed sometimes, yesterday I was looking at a page, and when I I went into the insights to look at their post, and I was actually looking to see what their most popular post had been for the last 28 days. And it only showed me like 5 posts. It wouldn't let me see anything else. It said this is not available.
I actually did I get when I go onto my page, or if I click onto someone else's page, it will come up with this little white box that says you do not have permissions to perform the action that you've just taken.
That's it.
And it's just a face bug.
Yeah. It is a feature, as we call them.
It's just a face bug, because there's nothing you can, like about 2 weeks ago, I had problems tagging people.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether it was their settings, but it's then I put a post in one of the inner circles I'm in, and they said no, there's been some bugs with actually tagging. Some people will tag and some people won't. So you just roll with it, because there's nothing.
Well, we don't own this platform. We say that all the time, and that's another thing with repurposing. So anything that you're putting on Facebook, make sure you have it somewhere else, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't
Yes.
own the platform. Things could change. It could go away like Belive did. So just make sure you have your content somewhere else and roll with the glitches.
Another thing I've noticed just in the last 24 hours is the little green arrow that next to the videos. Have you got that yet?
No.
So you can actually download your videos. Done them as a little, and I just went, oh, how exciting, because it's a rigmarole to download your videos, your live videos to your hard drive. But now you can just click on this little green arrow.
I'm going to change my Udemy course.
So,
because there used to be 3 different ways: one way for the profile, one way for the business page, and one way for groups. But if they've just standardized now, that's wonderful news.
Yeah, I just do it one way the whole time, but it's a very convoluted way. But now if we can just on the little drop down, it's in the little green arrow in a black box, and it's on the left hand side. I've only just noticed it. I haven't tried it yet, but I've just noticed it there. So that is a boon that we can actually do that without going before, like I said, it was a convoluted process, but if we can just download them now and then repurpose them much more easily. So
I was looking to see if I had it, and it's not showing up yet for me. Part of the reason that we're seeing so many little glitches happening in the last 24 hours in the last week really is because they're rolling out so many updates for Facebook. Yes. And I'm really excited for them to get all of the groups updates out to everyone, I should say. I have like 2 groups so far that have the ability to add units. Nothing the others do not. And even when I create a brand new group, it doesn't come with that ability yet. So I'm looking forward to those functions coming to groups. I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to the units coming to groups as well. And love the questions are there. Looking forward to the insights. It's a boon for people that are growing communities and growing tribes on Facebook. It really is. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I agree. Facebook is awesome, and we forgive its bugs. And,
we've run a little over time. We need to let Adaire sleep.
I'm doing a bit. I'll get the matchsticks out. I'll be right. No, I've got. I want to fire it up now. I want to go to a Udemy course.
Go for it. Go for it.
I'll see you in the morning.
We'll be some of your first students.
And I'll be the second.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure, Adaire. And we'll go for tradition. I do the intro, which I did earlier. So the outro is Tina. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'd like to ask Adaire to remind people where they can find her.
Okay, you can find me at social media for small biz owners on Facebook, or just Adaire Palmer.
And very soon on Udemy.
Very soon on Udemy. Yes, I do have a website which is socialmediawithadaire.com. So, and that's fairly new. So that's sort of, I'm still poking at that.
Wonderful. Thank you again for joining us today. It's been delightful, and thank you for staying up so late to be here. Stephen, let's tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on video most days of the week. If you just search for LVS 17 or repurposing, then you'll find me.
Or Belive in 5, where you can also find me.
Indeed.
And you can find me on Shang Live, or just Tina Shang on Facebook. You'll find me. And on that note, thank you again for joining us. This has been Repurposing Your Content with Stephen and Tina. We will see you next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye. Press the button, and I'm waiting for it to say end broadcast, and it has.